Hey, friend, I know we're all coming off a recent win, and yes, the Cowboys have managed to grab back-to-back victories. But let's be real for a moment, even with these small wins, the season isn't exactly where we hoped it would be. At 5-7, the Cowboys find themselves in a situation that's simply unacceptable for a team with such a storied history. And let's face it, Jerry Jones isn't someone who is used to being in this position, especially when we're staring down the barrel of Week 14. Injuries have obviously played a huge role in this downfall. I mean, Dak Prescott's season-ending hamstring injury. That's a blow no team can really recover from easily. But here's the thing, even when Dak was playing, the team wasn't living up to expectations. They were, in a lot of ways, one of the biggest underachievers in the NFL this year. It's frustrating, right? Now, this isn't just about the record, it's bigger than that. It's about the pressure mounting on Mike McCarthy, and let's be honest here, a lot of us are wondering if this might finally be the year Jerry Jones decides to move on from him. By the way, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think McCarthy deserves to stay for another season? Or is it time for a change? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to see where you stand on this. Oh, and before I continue, if you're enjoying the discussion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Your support is really important to us, and it helps us reach our goal of 12,000 subscribers. We're almost there, and I know we can do it with your help. Let's keep diving deeper into this. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the man who really holds the keys to the Cowboys' future, Jerry Jones. If there's one thing we know about Jerry, it's that he doesn't settle for mediocrity. At all, this 5-7 record, it's not what Jerry expects from his team. He's been at the helm for decades, and his eyes are always set on one thing, winning another Super Bowl, and right now, we're a long way from that. For Jones, this isn't just about the here and now, it's about the legacy. He's had some legendary coaches over the years, but he's also shown a willingness to make tough decisions when the team isn't living up to expectations. Think about how quickly he pulled the trigger on Jason Garrett back in 2020. Despite Garrett leading the Cowboys to multiple playoff appearances, Jerry wanted more. He wanted a coach who could get this team over the playoff hump. And right now, McCarthy is in a very similar situation. Sure, he's had some success, but the playoff failures, especially with McCarthy's 1-3 postseason record since taking over in 2020, are hard to ignore. Jerry has always been about the future, and as much as he's spoken positively about McCarthy in the past, we can't forget that his patience isn't endless. What do you think? Is Jerry going to stick with McCarthy for another season, or is it time to bring in someone else who can finally get this team back to the promised land? Cast your vote in the poll right here, and let's see what everyone's thinking. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's the easiest way to stay updated on everything Cowboys and to help the channel grow. Your support really means a lot to us. Alright, let's move forward and take a closer look at Mike McCarthy's journey with the Cowboys. Okay, now that we've set the stage with Jerry Jones' expectations, let's take a step back and look at Mike McCarthy's time with the Cowboys. It's been a roller coaster ride, hasn't it? When McCarthy first came to Dallas in 2020, things didn't exactly go as planned. The Cowboys ended up with a disappointing 6-10 record in his first year, which had many fans, including myself, questioning if he was the right guy for the job. But then, something changed. Over the next couple of seasons, McCarthy managed to turn things around, leading the Cowboys to 3 consecutive 12-5 seasons. That's impressive, right? But here's the catch, the playoffs. It's always been about the playoffs. In 2020, the Cowboys lost in the first round of the Rams. In 2021, they got bounced by the 49ers, and last year, they were eliminated by the 49ers again. That's a 1-3 playoff record since McCarthy took over, and that's a big problem. You see, in Dallas, the regular season doesn't matter if you don't perform when it counts. It's all about postseason success, and with McCarthy failing to take the Cowboys past the divisional round, it's clear that the pressure is mounting. Fans want to see results, and honestly, it's hard to blame them. But here's where it gets tricky. McCarthy's been solid in the regular season. The team's been competitive, but the ultimate question is, can he get the Cowboys over that playoff hump? That's the million-dollar question, and right now, with the team sitting at 5-7 and playoff hopes looking slim, it seems like McCarthy's future is once again on shaky ground. So, what do you think about McCarthy's time in Dallas? Has he done enough to earn another year? Or do you think it's time to move on? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on his journey as the Cowboys head coach. And before I move on, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Your support is helping us grow and get closer to our goal of 12,000 subscribers, plus you'll never miss out on the latest Cowboys news, so don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay up to date. Let's keep going and look at what the experts are saying about McCarthy's future. Now that we've covered McCarthy's time in Dallas, let's dive into what's being said behind the scenes. The buzz around Mike McCarthy's future has been growing louder and louder, especially with the Cowboys' current record and the team's overall performance. ESPN's Don Graziano, one of the most reliable voices in the NFL, made a bold statement. Recently, he suggested that McCarthy's time in Dallas could be coming to an end after the season. Here's the thing, McCarthy's situation is unlike any other. He's already in a contract year, which means the Cowboys could choose to part ways with him without too much hassle. That's a huge factor when you think about it. Even if McCarthy finishes out the season, the team could still opt to move on in the offseason and start fresh with a new head coach. But what would it take for McCarthy to save his job this year? Well, Graziano believes McCarthy likely needs to make a deep playoff run to keep his position. But here's the reality. With the Cowboys sitting in 12th place in the NFC, it seems incredibly unlikely that they're going to make it to the playoffs, let alone make any significant noise once they're there. And we all know how Jerry Jones operates when it comes to playoff success. If McCarthy doesn't manage to pull off the impossible and get this team into the postseason, his days to be numbered. It's a tough spot to be in. McCarthy's been a solid regular season coach, but that's simply not enough in Dallas. For Cowboys fans like you and me, we're tired of seeing the team get so close and never quite reach that ultimate goal. The lack of playoff success is weighing heavy on everyone. It's starting to feel like this might be the end of the road for McCarthy. What's your take on all this? Do you think McCarthy can somehow turn this around? Or is his time in Dallas finally running out? Hit up the comments and let me know what you're thinking. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and don't forget to vote in the poll. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and enable those notifications. We're aiming for 12,000 subscribers, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Your support makes all the difference. Let's jump into the next part, where we'll talk about potential replacements for McCarthy and what the future could look like for the Cowboys. Okay, so if McCarthy really is on the hot seat, who could possibly replace him in 2025? That's the big question now, and it's something that fans, analysts, and even players are all speculating about. If Jerry Jones decides it's time for a change, he's going to want someone who can take this team to the next level, someone who can finally lead the Cowboys back to the Super Bowl. There are a few names that keep popping up when you look at potential candidates. For starters, former NFL players who have been making waves as assistant coaches or coordinators could be in the mix. A name like Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator from the Kansas City Chiefs, is one that fans have talked about for a while. He's had success with one of the most high-powered offenses in the league, and some believe he could bring a fresh, dynamic approach to the Cowboys' offense. Then, there's the possibility of going after an experienced head coach who has had success elsewhere, someone like Mike Zimmer, or even former Cowboys coach Jason Garrett, if he's willing to come back. There are a lot of options on the table, and the big question is, what type of coach does Jerry Jones want? One thing's for sure, whoever takes over will have a lot of work to do. The expectations will be sky high from day one. Jerry isn't just looking for someone who can win games in the regular season. He wants a coach who can get the Cowboys deep into the playoffs and beyond, and with a roster full of talented players like Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. The right coach could finally get this team over the hump. Who do you think should be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to take part in our poll. We want to know who you think is the best fit for this team's future. And as always, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button and make sure you're part of the Cowboys News TV family. We're so close to hitting 12,000 subscribers, and your support really helps us grow. Plus, you'll never miss the latest Cowboys updates. Now, let's wrap up by discussing what the future might look like for the Cowboys, no matter who the head coach is. So, let's bring it all together. What's next for the Cowboys? Whether it's McCarthy finishing out the season or a new head coach taking the reins in 2025, one thing is clear: the Cowboys are at a crossroads. The expectations are higher than ever, and it's make or break for this team. We've seen flashes of greatness, but now the pressure is on to turn those flashes into consistent success and ultimately to bring another Super Bowl back to Dallas. If McCarthy stays, it'll be about whether he can finally break through in the postseason. But if a new coach comes in, there's no doubt that Jerry Jones is going to expect immediate results. The Cowboys have a talented roster, and whoever steps in will have a strong foundation to work with. But even with that talent, they'll face immense pressure to deliver. As fans, we've been here before. We've seen the Cowboys flirt with greatness and come up short. But there's always hope, and we have to believe that the right coach, whether it's McCarthy or someone new, can get this team back to the top. The road ahead is uncertain, but it's also filled with possibilities. What do you think is the best move for the Cowboys? Stick with McCarthy or bring in a new head coach? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And let's talk about what's next for this team that we all love. And before we close out, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Your support means everything to us, and we're so close to reaching our goal of 12,000 subscribers. Help us get there and be part of our growing Cowboys community. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.